Alright, after nitpicking the main game, Sonic Adventure 2, there's one last order of business. The Chao Garden, which I love. I spend so much time here when I'm not playing the main game. Hell, when I'm replaying the stages, most likely I'm getting stuff from my Chao. But let's start with the basics. To enter the Chao Garden, you have to find the Chao key hidden in a sage by one of 3 boxes. The first one hides the Chao key, the second hides animals, and the third one hides a rare animal, or as the game calls it, mystic animals. When you first start, you only have the neutral garden, and you can unlock the other 2 by raising a hero Chao and a dark Chao, but to unlock their respective gardens. To do this, you can pet them over and over and over again as either hero characters, Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles, to make a hero Chao, or the dark characters, Shadow, Eggman, and Rouge, to make a dark Chao. Also, quick note, Eggman should go nowhere near a Chao Garden.
Look at this, and look at this, no, look at this. He shakes them!
Me when I... Oh my god, this is taking the baby. Oh my god.
And he likes it,
Okay,
apparently. Look at him, he likes it.
Anyway, so what then? After you get your Chao, either a hero or dark type, what do you do next? Well, you get 4 types of either animals or chaos tribes. Run, fly, swim, and power, and give them to your Chao, and that will make them either 4 combinations. When they get enough stats and age for a certain amount of time, they will evolve into an adult Chao of that stat. Do it again, and eventually they will go into their full combination, which is great. However, this requires a lot, and I mean a lot of waiting and patience. This could take plenty of in-game hours that you have to spend just standing around and waiting because you have to let the clock go. Now, this does make sense since this is a Tamagotchi, but still, if you want a Chao, you better be prepared for a lot of commitment and patience, just like real parenthood. But what if you wanted to take these Chao on the go? Well, on the Dreamcast and GameCube respectively, you could use either the VMU on the original Dreamcast or the Tiny Chao Garden bundled with Sonic Advance, Sonic Advance 2, and Sonic Pinball, but also downloadable by linking your Game Boy Advance with the GameCube. Using those, you can spend time with your Chao and interact with them better. This is so cool, and I would have totally used this, but unfortunately, I'm stuck with the PC version, which has no such thing. How cool would it have been to have this hooked up through a mobile app? Maybe Sonic Dash, maybe Sonic Runners, maybe you can have some extra exclusive stuff to unlock through these games? But keep in mind, time does not move in either the Tiny Chao Garden or the Dreamcast VMU. So no, using these does not raise the age of your Chao so it evolves faster, which you think would be the case, but no. But it's still a fun novelty that I really want to try out, but unfortunately I can't until I get both a GameCube and or Dreamcast and really a Game Boy Advance. I would love to get footage of the Dreamcast VMU, but there's no emulator of it unfortunately, so I can't give you that. If you want to find out more about the Dreamcast VMU and Tiny Chao Garden like I most certainly do, I highly recommend checking out the website Chao Island, which was made by a team of dedicated fans who love Chao Garden even to this day. They even opened up a Discord server and it's highly active, just showing the sheer legacy Chao Garden has left behind. Now let's get into the nitty gritty of the actual Chao Garden. So other than raiding around, what other things can you do? Well, there's Chao races in which those stats you raise come into play. There are many types of races for each stat, so if you have a Chao that's great at swimming but not running, get him in the crab pool. Then for the running race, get a running Chao and watch your baby decimate the competition, making Papa proud. Once you win these races, you can get medals and even toys for your gardens. Only thing is, some toys are locked to certain gardens and also can't be moved. Kinda lame, but no, whatever. There's also Chao Karate, which pitches Chaos against one another and have them fight to the death. The only problem I have is that time, again, does not move in the Chao races or the Chao Karate. So while you're doing these races, these Chao do not age, meaning you still gotta stand around and wait for your Chao to evolve. And really, you can't even go to other Chao Gardens. If you want a Chao to evolve, you have to be waiting in that Chao Garden they are in, which honestly just leads to most of your Chao just being in one garden and one being completely empty. And not to mention, on the vanilla PC version, you can't even click off the game and go work on stuff while you wait because the game pauses when you minimize the window. However, you have other options. Now, I don't usually recommend mods to fix games, unless it's purely graphical and on the semi-official side. Example being how I used the better SADX mod to make the PC version look more like the superior Dreamcast release during my Sonic Adventure 1 review. However, there are a couple of ways you could help yourself out. So the first thing I recommend is installing the SA2 mod loader and activating a code that lets the games go, even when the game is minimized. So now, while you're waiting for your Chao to evolve, you can watch YouTube videos, you can do school, you can write a script for your essay too, NitPick. Now, what if there was a way to keep track of your Chao's magnitude while waiting for them to evolve so you know when to expect it? Well, for that, I would recommend the Fusion Chao editor. You can edit your Chao with it, but I strictly use it for keeping up with my Chao and when to expect it to evolve. You can use it to make your Chao evolve faster, but that just takes all the fun out of it, so I don't recommend doing that. Only use it to keep track of your Chao stats if you want to get serious about Chao Garden. But you can also use it to do some crazy things. For one thing useful, you can add the character Chaos into the PC version, which is unobtainable given you can't connect to the tiny Chao Garden, and the other is creating and just messing around with all separate kinds of combinations, but we'll discuss that a bit later. I'm sure you're looking at the footage and seeing a bunch of other mods I'm using at the moment, but I want to try to keep most of this video about just vanilla-based Chao Garden, so I'll explain all that towards the end of the video. But for now, I'm trying to go over the base game, but with the 2 extra things I just mentioned, just because I think they are quote-unquote essential if you have the PC version to enhance your Chao experience. I'll get into the more cool and extra stuff later. I just wanted to mention the pause code and the Fusion Chao editor, just because I think they enhance your experience and not outright add to it or fix things. But what about knowledge? Well, that's where Chao Kindergarten comes into play. They can learn tons of things like play the drums and draw and so much more. And this isn't just to raise a stat or whatever. They actually do what they have learned in the Chao Garden. For instance, if your Chao learns to sing, they will sing randomly at times while you're hanging out in the garden, or you'll find an art piece in the middle of the floor. There's also a health center. That's where you can take your Chao who are sick or you just want to check on their general stats. There's also the fortune teller where you can name your Chao whatever you want. You can go to the Chao principal to get some info in the Chao Garden, though it won't give you that much. But most frequently, you'll be going over to the left side to the black market. Why is this the only method of shopping for Chao supplies? Is there no Chao Mart? No Chao Garden? Just black market? Okay. Okay, I'll just take my seats and go then. But NitPicker, I hear you asking, is there a goal to all this? Besides spending time with these adorable Chao, is there an end goal? Why, yes. Yes, there is. For if you have a Chao reincarnate twice, then give them every single animal part, they will turn into a Chaos Chao, which not only looks cool and is very satisfying to get, just because they're so rare, but also will never die, making them immortal, and obviously a really cool thing to have in your Chao collection. I left my GameCube on for 12 days to get this really cool looking Chao. What did you do, Dad? But again, as they keep saying, this requires a lot of patience and waiting. The first evolution takes about 3 hours, and I don't know how long the second evolution takes. If you're an idiot like me. You see, there is a way to make the evolutions faster, and that's by, I don't know, keeping them well fed? I'm yelling at myself, don't worry. See, I thought that feeding them didn't really have a point. Just to keep them happy, basically, I thought it was just a novelty. It's a Tamagotchi. It's gotta have food in it. That's just how it is. This was a bad thought, because all I did while waiting for these Chao to evolve was standing in this small pit of land and watching to see when they evolve, not thinking, oh, maybe eating healthy would help. How smart am I? So, if you want to be smarter than me, try the smart method. Enter a Chao into the Chao races to get a shovel, then buy some seeds for the black market, and once they've grown, shake the trees periodically to leave fruit for the Chao to eat. Then there you go. You're officially not an idiot. But enough of all that. Y'all want to meet my Chao, I'm sure, don't you? Y'all want to know about my experience through Chao Garden. Well, I have this to tell you. My first 2 Chao, named Toto, yes, named after Todoroki from My Hero Academia, and before you get excited and say, oh boy, he watches MHA, I watched the dub version because I am a sinner, so yes, I named him after Toto, after Todoroki. And as for my dark Chao, Mayo, I named him after mayonnaise because mayonnaise is disgusting, and one of my friends told me to name one Mayo, so I made it the dark one because mayonnaise is dark and gross. So after I finished my Essay 1 nitpick, I transferred them over to Sonic Adventure 2, after which I made my other 2 Chao, Orion and Dumplin. Orion was my idea, and Dumplin was another one of my friend's ideas. The same guy who told me to name my 3rd Chao, Alibaba. Very shady indeed. I also had this golden Chao I got from Sonic Adventure I named Farquaad, just because I thought it was kind of funny and I'm a big fan of Shrek.
You're a monster! I'm not the monster here, you are.
I eventually grew Toto, Mayo, and Alibaba into Chaos Chao after technically cheating only the second evolution. The first evolution, I never cheated. I only did the second because I had to get this video out, but I'm gonna make legit Chaos Chao from Horion and Dumpling to make up for it, and because I know how to properly raise them now. Alright, now let's discuss the extra shit. The shit I'm sure has been putting you off guard the entire time. So, I knew for this video, I just had to make a crazy type of Chao, using the Fusion Chao editor and its exclusive textures you can put on it. I made the Chao a beast who could destroy the races with no problem whatsoever. So, with slight hesitation and fear, I introduce you to the Evil Destructor Demolition Yeti, or Teddy. This Chao has all his stats at 99, making him an unstoppable force, annihilating all of his competition without even breaking a sweat. And I know y'all are gonna tell me he doesn't look like a Yeti, but fuck you, I tried and I wanted the funny name. He may be great at races, but he is horrible at planting trees. Like seriously, I gave him the seed for this new tree and it took him 2 of his Chao mates to evolve to plant one. Jesus. The second thing I have been using, and I know y'all are more curious about, is the Chao Garden Extended mod, adding more features and some fixes to the Chao Garden. There's a lot of mods and stuff people have made, but I only stuck with the Chao Garden lobby pack themes just cause these are Chao Garden lobby packs with custom textures and music just to change up your surroundings and lighten things up a bit. They're mostly based on Sonic stages and themes, no surprise, but a couple of them are actually Mario themed. The one I stuck with was the Dark Gardens Volcano Garden, just because I thought it looked pretty awesome. There's a Mario Party one, there's a Green Hill one, there's plenty, and I'm sure more are being made as we speak, so I highly recommend going to check them out. But if this is your first rodeo with Chao Garden, I recommend sticking with the vanilla just for a bit, then trying the fan-made gardens to, you know, kind of liven things up a bit. I recently just found out about a DK Jungle Garden mod, and yep, gonna have to check that out later. So is Chao Garden good? Yes. Is it for everyone? God, no. But if you enjoy both Animal Crossing and Sonic and you want kind of both and honestly kind of a more involved process, but if you're not into life sims, especially on a console or PC, then yeah, I don't recommend this to you. However, I do recommend you at least give it a shot. Try it out, see if you like it, especially if you have Sonic Adventure 2. Add some game time, you know? But I think we can all agree that Chaos are adorable little creatures and they should be cherished and taken care of. And will you just plant the goddamn tree? Oh hi, welcome to the end of the end card screen again. You made it to the end, thank you so much. I want to thank y'all so much for watching this video. It took me a bit of time to make. It was kind of hard to find the right footage for this one. But thank y'all so much for watching. If you'd like, I would be very happy if you watched the videos that you see on your right. One of them will be my Sonic Adventure 2 video, you know, the first part of this Chao Garden video. And the other one is whatever is my playlist, actually. So, yeah, make sure to check both those out. And I will see you in the next one.